All right, let's talk about this hurricane. So I'm in Clearwater, and right now they've got the track going over the south part of St. Pete, and I'm just north of St. Pete in Clearwater. So I'm guessing where I'm at, we'll be seeing maybe 50-mile-an-hour winds. That's what it's looking like on my weather app. So we'll see what it ends up being. I got a buddy over in Countryside I could go stay with, and to be honest, I would like to go stay with him, but I feel like I'd be like ditching the mechanic at that point. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If it gets any further north, I'm gonna probably go stay with my buddy. We'll see what's going on. Because there's a lot of trees around here, and the ground is wet, and it could be uprooting trees. You just never know. And here's the other thing: they don't know exactly where this hurricane is going to go. It's all just, they've got a vague idea, but that track will probably change before Wednesday. So, how do you prepare for disasters? Well, in my opinion, if you've got the money and the resources, you should build out a vehicle to have a second emergency mobile home. But I understand most people don't got the money like that. The only reason I was able to build out a car to live in is because I don't pay rent. I live in my car. So, but even if I had $10 million, I would have a nice 4x4 SUV built into a mobile home. For the rest of my life, I'll have that. Because it's just the best way to prepare, in my opinion, unless you've got like this whole prepper community all working together in farming and stuff like that. That's the best way to do it. But if you're solo, having a mobile home built out into a vehicle, I think is the best way to be prepared. But this is just going to be like general preparedness for everyone. So because I watch a lot of these like preppers on YouTube. I don't know if you call them preppers or what, but I've always been into like survival and prepping and that type of stuff. So it's something that I have been paying attention to pretty much my whole life. And a lot of these guys on YouTube, they give good advice, I'd say most of the time. But the problem is, it's like they operate under the assumption that everyone's got $10,000 to spend to have tanks of fresh water and gas and all, everything, and most people just don't have 10 grand to blow. So here's the bare minimum of what you need. And what we've learned from Hurricane Helene, the government is not much help. There's people trapped in the mountains of North Carolina. Now, if they had this stuff that I'm going to tell you about, they wouldn't need any help. But so the first thing I say everyone should have is a water filter. You don't need to carry around a SeaWorld sized tank full of, whale tank full of fresh water. It'd be good if you could have that, but who's got the resources to have that? You know what I mean? So you can get a water filter. I've got a couple of them. Now, this is called the Life Straw. And they used to give these to Special Forces soldiers, I think. I don't know if they still do or if they give them to regular soldiers. They should give them to everyone. They're not expensive. You can get them off of Amazon for like $20. And how this works is you take the lids off it, and then you stick this end into whatever puddle you find, and you can drink the water, and it'll filter out everything. And I think this is supposed to last a lifetime. Not 100% sure on that. But I think it also filters out all the microorganisms and shit, so you don't got to boil the water. You can just drink it straight through this thing. That's amazing when you think about it. You could just head off into the woods with it, and you don't got to boil water. You can drink water. The other filter I have, this is a Sawyer water filter. And the company that makes these is actually the next town over. It's Safety Harbor. And I used to hang out in Safety Harbor all the time when I was younger. But these are like maybe $30. And this does the same as this. It'll filter everything out, including the microorganisms and shit. So you don't got to be boiling the water. I think now when you buy it, you better read the instructions and make sure I'm right. So those are the 2 water filters I have. And so in any emergency, Florida's got water everywhere. It's just that you don't want to be drinking out of a pond or a lake, because if you've ever looked at pond or lake water under a microscope, you see that there's tons of microscopic organisms living in there, that some of them are parasitic, some of them will make you sick. So if you don't have water filters, you can make one in an emergency. Now you take any, like let's say you got a empty water bottle. You cut the bottom off it, turn it upside down, tie a little piece of your shirt over the mouthpiece, and then you put in charcoal and then sand, and not dirt, sand, because sand is broken down rock. Dirt is broken down organic matter. So it's got to be sand, not dirt. Charcoal, sand, and then I think like maybe some pebbles and rocks on the top layer. Look it up on YouTube just to be sure. And that'll filter the water out. But here's the thing, I don't think that will filter out the microorganisms, or at least not all of them, I don't think. So you'd have to still boil the water. But that's how you make a filter if you ever have to make one. Another thing I would say that everyone should have is a portable gas stove. I'm going to link all this stuff in the comments, this stuff that I have. And a portable gas stove. Now, the one I use is made by Gas One. It's under here, and I can't really dig it up from where I'm sitting, but the reason my portable gas stove is so awesome is because it can work off of propane or butane. So if you have no access to butane, you can use propane. If you have no access to propane, you can use butane. That's what's great about this portable stove, and it's only like $30. So once you got a portable stove, then there's your fire, there's your cooking, you can boil water, you can cook food. Now, as far as emergency food, I get these Mountain House. This is freeze-dried, dehydrated food. It's got a shelf life of like 30 years. I've eaten Mountain House meals before, and I think they're pretty good. I actually like them. They're not bad at all. I could live off them. So I think I've got about 7 in my car now. I would like to have about 20 because I am... I like to be ready for anything. And here's the other thing you got to realize now. You can supplement this stuff with, you can get food off the land. You can hunt animals and you can eat plants. Now, what plants can you eat? Well, I'm assuming you don't have some field guide that'll tell you all the plants you can eat. How did our ancestors figure it out? They would taste things and they would rely on their instincts. And so you got to realize you have those instincts too. So if you ever have to live off the land, follow your nose, follow your instincts, follow your intuition. Look for edible plants because there's a ton of them out there. The earth is covered in them. Some of them are poisonous. You know what I mean? You gotta use your instincts. So one edible plant that I know of that's pretty common is cattails. Apparently you can do a lot with them. They're very nutritious, and there's one, for instance, and they're everywhere, cattails. So cattails are the things that grow out of ponds and lakes and stuff, the reeds or whatever. There's lots of edible parts on those things, apparently. So dandelions, apparently, I've heard are edible. Lots of flowers are edible. Lots of things are edible. There's, roots, onions, potatoes. There's millions of species of these things other than the ones you eat. So there's plenty of food out there. And then there's hunting animals and stuff. So, I would say have the dehydrated food that you could supplement it with whatever you could graze off the land. You know what I mean? Just going out and hunting and gathering every day. So, if I was in a survival situation, I would try my best to get everything off the land and not even use my supplies. You know what I mean? But the Mountain House ones are the ones that I'm familiar with. The Mountain House dehydrated food. I know it's good. I've eaten them. Last time I had to eat one was right when my YouTube was starting to take off. My car was broken down in downtown Clearwater, and I was doing portraits on the beach, and then it rained for a couple of days, so I couldn't make no money. thank God I had some emergency food. I boiled some water on my stove and ate some Mountain House food. Thank God I had it. Otherwise, I would have had to go steal food from somewhere, which I don't like to have to do that kind of shit. So, the other one that I've heard is good is Peak Refuel. Now, I haven't had those, but I've heard they're good, and I do want to try them actually. So far on the list: water filter, gas stove, dehydrated food. If you have those three things, you can last a long time. It all depends on how much dehydrated food you have, and these things do not take up a lot of space. I live in my car, and I could hold a ton of these things if I had to. And one of these will fill you up. I eat about half of it, and then I eat the other half later, because I'm not a heavy eater. But so water filter, gas stove, dehydrated food, those are like the staples that you can live for a long time without any help or anything from anyone, and whatever you can graze off the land, hunting and gathering. So now, if you've got a little more money to spend, I would say get a solar panel and a solar powered generator like the ones I use. Gas generator, the problem with gas generators is you need gas, first of all. Second of all, they put off carbon monoxide, which you can't run them in your house. It'll cost you your life, you know what I mean? So a lot of people think, oh, those solar generators, you can't run nothing off of them. Dude, I run an air fryer off of mine. I run a refrigerator 24/7 off it. I mean, these things are powerful nowadays. You don't need a gas generator. I would say get the solar generator, because all you need is sunshine and you got power. And so even if the sun doesn't shine for a couple of days, sooner or later the sun's going to shine. So you got power. Now, I'll link this stuff in the comments. The solar generators I've got the Vito Man Flash Speed 1500, which they sent me for free. I made a YouTube video about it where I cook a cheeseburger off my air fryer off the generator. It's a really good generator so far. And they gave me a 220 watt foldable portable solar panel, which is a really good panel too. So that's one generator I got. Then the other one I got is a cheaper one. Now the Vito Man Flash Speed 1500, I think that's going to run you probably around $1,000, maybe more. Now the other one I have is the Montech X1000. It's kind of a cheaper one, but I gotta say, I've had it since 2021 and I have no complaints. I think you can get that one now for like $500. That's 1,000 watts. And the upside to the Montech is it works with pretty much any solar panel you get. You can get just about any solar panel and it'll work with the Montech. So if you got the money, from what I've heard, the best ones are EcoFlow and Blue Eddy. Those are the ones that I've heard are the best ones. I have no experience with either of them, but I've heard they're really good. The one that I would suggest you don't buy, and I hate to put a company on blast like this, but me personally, I would not buy a Jackery. I've heard that they don't last that long, and I've just heard a lot of complaints about them. I wouldn't buy it. They're expensive, and another one I probably wouldn't buy would be the Goal Zeros. Those are the ones that used to be good, but the technology has kind of passed them by. But you know what? Do your own research and get what works for you. So one of the main things to look for with the generators is the lithium ion phosphate batteries. It's LiPo, they call it, because those batteries have thousands of cycles in them, and they will last you like 10 years. They last and I'm talking, it'll last you 10 years if you're constantly using it, cycling, charging it and running it down like every day. They last a long time from what I've heard, and I believe it because my Montech, which is a cheap one, is the lithium ion phosphate, and it works just as well now as it did the day I got it. And I just had to get a new portable refrigerator. So my old refrigerator, the compressor went bad, so it was running constantly and just eating power off my Montech. So, you know, even with a drain like that on it 24/7, my refrigerator, my old one, was running for about 2 months straight, just sucking power out of my Montech. And the thing just kept going like a trooper. And now I got my new fridge on it, and now it's running real well. So, so far the list: water filter, gas stove. Now, I'll link the one I got in the comments with the propane or the butane. That's the best one in my opinion. It's like $30. You can't go wrong. Water filter, gas stove, dehydrated food, power station, and solar panel if you got the money for it. Great things to have. Now, the other thing I would say to get, if you have the money, is a portable refrigerator that runs off the generator, because if those people stuck in the mountains had these things, they could last forever, literally. If you got a refrigerator, you can go out and hunt food, and the food will stay good. You don't got to smoke it and all that shit. You know, refrigerators are a really good thing to have. And these portable 12-volt refrigerators are super efficient. They're not like the refrigerator in your house. They're going to pull like a fraction of that power. Now, they're smaller, but it's still a refrigerator. You know what I mean? It's going to keep meat good pretty much indefinitely, depending on the temperature you put it at. You know what I'm saying? So if you got the money, those portable refrigerators are worth having. I'll link the one I got. So I can't afford the really good ones, like the Dometics and the Icecos. Those are supposedly really good. I never had either, so I can't say from experience. But the ones I have owned are the Joy Tutus one from China, which lasted me about 2 years, and then the compressor went bad. The one I just got is the Bouge RV, which actually is the same exact refrigerator as the Joy Tutus one. There's some factory in China making these. They just, whatever company buys them in bulk and then sells them on Amazon. So it's the lower end one, the cheaper one. It's about $300, brand new. And I'm guessing it will run efficiently for about a year or two. And by that point, hopefully I can afford one of the better ones. But for now, for short term, you know, just for an emergency, I'd say get the Bouge RV or one of the cheaper ones, because if you're not going to be living off it like I am, and you're only going to be using it during emergencies, it'll probably last you a real long time. The only reason I run them out in a year or two is because I'm living off it and using it every day. So I'm also in Florida, where the refrigerators have to work extra hard to stay working. And another thing I would say to get is like a headlamp. Or see, here's the thing. Nowadays, if you have a power generator, like a solar generator like I got, AA batteries, triple, all that shit goes out the window. You don't need all that shit no more. You buy the rechargeable headlamps and flashlights and shit, and you just charge them off your generator, which is getting power off the sun. So you don't need to deal with batteries no more. Your generator is your battery. And so I buy, the headlamp I got is the Bindi rechargeable, and I love it. It's super efficient. It lasts a real long time. It's got different, you know, shades of brightness, and at its highest brightness, it's like the high beams off a car. The thing's like this big, but it'll light up the whole area. And I use it as my light. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, it's hanging from my cargo net back there, but that's my light. And I probably have to charge it about once a week. And that's my main light back here. So at night, that's my light. I turn my light on, and I've got other lights, but that's my main one. And so I don't need to put batteries in it. I just plug it in when it needs to charge. So, you know, if you got the stove, that's your fire. You know, it's good to have lighters and backups. I've got lighters everywhere. So, but the stove, that you do all your cooking off of that. So, you know, I'll link all this stuff in the comments, and, you know, good luck everyone in the path of this hurricane. We'll see where it ends up going. If worse comes to worse, and it looks like it's gonna come closer to here, I'm gonna probably head over to my buddy's house take the panel off my roof, put it in his garage, and just hope for the best and just go chill in his house till it passes. But we'll see what happens. And, you know, who knows? The hurricanes are unpredictable. This one looks serious, though, I'll tell you that much. So I guess this is my hurricane video, and this applies to any emergency. If you have to disappear into the woods for an indefinite amount of time, this is the bare minimum I'd say that you need to survive. And you know, you could do it with nothing. Honestly, people don't realize it, but you're more resilient and, you know, smarter and more capable than you realize. We've been raised in this society that teaches us you have to have a job and work and die, and that's it. You can't do anything else. But realistically, if someone just dumped you off in the middle of the woods with nothing, most of you would survive. Most of you would figure it out. That's my opinion, I think. Now, if you have a water filter, a gas stove, and dehydrated food, you're definitely going to survive, because you know, with whatever else you could get off the land, you're going to figure it out. And as time goes on, you'll get better at surviving, and you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess that's the end of this video. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the subs, likes, comments, tips. I got to go respond to some comments on Patreon. I've got some preparing to do. I would like to go get some more fresh spring water if I can get my hands on any, but it's probably all gone by now in this area. But I'm gonna check the store anyways. But yeah, I've got enough food in here to last weeks probably, between my dehydrated food and what's in my refrigerator and whatever other you know. I've got enough food to last me, and probably if other people around here need some food, I could spare some food till things get back to normal. You know what I mean? So I went and got, what food did I get? So I've got my dehydrated food, then I bought some turkey and some bread and some cheese, and you know, so if worse come to worse, I'll be surviving off turkey sandwiches. I've got, you know, random stuff in my refrigerator: avocado, peppers, olives, hummus, just normal shit that I normally eat. So, and like I said, I don't eat a lot. So, and the other thing is, as long as the sun shines after the hurricane, my power will be back on. So if anyone around here needs to charge their phones and stuff, that I can help them out with that. So, and I got, you know, all the tools to help rebuild if anyone needs help rebuilding. So, you know, I feel pretty prepared, but at this point I would like to be more prepared and have a little more water. But if worse come to worse, I can hold in here, I think 5 or 6 gallons. So right now I'm sitting on probably about 4 or 5, and if I can't get any spring water today, I'll fill up my other tank with tap water, and then I'll have, I guess, yeah, I'll have about 5 or 6 gallons. So that's enough to last me for a week if I have to stretch it out, you know what I mean? Even longer if I have to, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'll see y'all after the storm. Appreciate y'all. I might film some of the storm. I don't think I'm gonna go live. I'll have enough shit going on. We'll see. You never know. If you see me popping up live, you know, it'll be during the hurricane. But I'm not making any promises or guarantees. I'll try to film some of it. We'll see what's going on. You know what I mean? If I'm outside my car swimming to safety, I don't think I'll be filming it. But I'm a great swimmer. But let me tell you something. If I lived in any of the evacuation zones, I would evacuate, because it doesn't matter how good a swimmer you are if the storm surge comes in and there's all this hurricane conditions going on and all this random detritus floating around in the water and being blown around by the wind. You can be a great swimmer and get knocked in the head by a piece of wood. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a fucking really good swimmer. I've been swimming as long as I could walk, just about. I grew up in a house with a pool, so I don't even remember learning how to swim. I just remember always knowing how to swim, you know what I mean? Because I've been in the water my whole life. My mother used to take us to the beach every day when we were kids. We'd be in the ocean every day, just about. So, and I've swam out deep into the ocean and made it back. Barely made it back, but I made it back. So I'm confident in my swimming, and I'm very buoyant too in salt water. I can just float, you know what I mean? So, but I can tell you one thing: if I was in one of the evacuation zones, I wouldn't stay around, bro. People die in this shit. Mother Nature is relentless. It ain't personal. It's nature is just relentless. There was times when I was homeless where it would rain and then it would be 25 degrees and then the next day it's 10 degrees. I'm like, give me a fucking break. Mother Nature don't care, bro. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. It ain't gonna take it easy on you. It's gonna do what it does. So, hurricanes are not nothing to be played with. Anyway, I guess that's the end of this video. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all after the storm. If you want a response to the comments, try to get it within the first 30. And I'll see y'all afterwards. Good luck, y'all, and yeah, see you later.